I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
And we are VIMTV, Velocities in Music. We're going to do a request. Today, this is a throwback request from 1994, the Offspring Smash, which is one of Tom's favorite albums. This album was requested by Mr. Bigglesworth, which is me.
Oh, that was you?
I requested it.
You jerk! I thought it was Doug.
I wanted to review this album so badly, but like we have so many requests that I wanted to sneak it up on Tom.
I can't believe you did that. And you waited to tell me until now.
Tom has been wanting me to listen to Smash for so long, and I was like, I gotta do it on the show.
Way before we've even been doing Velocities of Music.
Yeah, forever. And so this was just the perfect excuse, so I just put in the request.
That's awesome. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Anyways, Tom, the Offspring Smash. This is a fun review. We're gonna have fun with it. Yes. You liked it. I did like this album, so take it away, Tom.
I'm gonna hit you up real quick with a little history of Offspring and where this lies in their discography.
Are they still making albums?
Yeah, they just came out with an album in 2008, 2009. Not their best, but still, you know, decent. But they were around actually since the late 80s, kind of going into that that kind of punk sound that was kind of led by like Bad Religion, bands like that. They actually worked really closely with the vocalist, I believe, of Bad Religion, who actually kind of owned the label that they did their first couple albums on. And their first album, Offspring, self-titled, came out in 1989. It wasn't released on CD until like 1995 or something. But
they didn't even have CDs in '89, right?
But it's very raw punk. Now, a lot of people don't think of Offspring as being really a punk band because they mostly hear the stuff that they've done in the last 10 to 15 years. Well, if you go back to their early stuff, it was very like Dead Kennedys influenced, you know.
Yeah, even Metallica.
Yeah, because that's the thing. There's lots of thrash. You listen to like Motor Breath, which is track 3 on Metallica's first album, Kill 'Em All. It came out in 1983. Sounds like something Offspring would have done in their early days. And it was that very, you know, classic noisy drums, very mid-range guitar, and clunky bass sound. Was their first album, but it was great songwriting. Ignition came out a few years later, and that was just a little more developed. And then 1994, Smash, which was their big breakthrough. Few big singles from here: Gotta Get Away, Come Out and Play, Self-Esteem, radio hits. This album holds the record for being the highest selling album off of any independent label. Nitro was the label that this came off of in 1994, and since then it has sold, I believe, like 16 million copies. It's like got six times platinum, and that is just a testament to the statement this made in the rock world. Because to kind of put in context, this came out in the same year as Green Day's Dookie, which is another very important punk rock album, but Green Day was always the brighter side of things, whereas Offspring was a little dark. Now, a couple years later, with Ixnay and the Hombre, they kind of lean toward that pop influence too, but that's why Smash is their peak. It's the peak of their discography because it still has kind of that noisy punk attitude, but right before they move into the poppier stuff, because this still has great production. The drums sound thick. The bass has a bunch of low end, besides just sounding like mid-range Ramones bass playing.
The guitars.
The guitars are huge.
And they thrash your head off.
Yeah, they really do. And everything, and let me tell you a quick story. My band did a cover of Bad Habit from this album, and we played it at a few shows, and we actually decided to stop playing it just because it was so damn hard to play. And I'm not bragging or anything, but we are pretty good at our instruments. We're pretty good at playing music together, me and my band. And this was hard. And we've done a lot of covers in the past just for fun, learn to play other people's songs, and this was by far the hardest one, and we were not expecting that. But just the speed and precision that these guys play, while it may sound simple in a recording, is not easy at all. It is very hard to pull off, and they do it with such accuracy and grace even, that it's just incredible. And beyond the instrumental abilities, these songs are memorable. They stand the test of time. Every single one of these songs is good and impressive in its own way. And if you listen to it enough, you'll see that, well, you know, maybe some of the drum beats sound the same or something, or some of the guitar riffs sound slightly similar. The vocals come and they really make it shine. They really make each song stand out as its own, but while still making a cohesive album. And I just love this album. I could keep going and going, but I'm going to hand it over to you.
The vocals are some of my favorite parts.
Yeah.
And the reason is that the singer is believable. And I don't know his name, and I
Dexter
apologize.
Holland.
And Dexter is he just the way he just emits this rage, but at the same time it's more like an optimistic dark rage. But like in the choruses they harmonize well. I mean the vocals just sound good and it complements the sounds. He can sound intense and fun and scream like in Bad Habit. I mean it's just these songs are good. You know, and even you know a lot of these contextually this it doesn't matter at all. It just because this came out in 1994, but the songs are structured in a very, you know, square verse chorus AB style, right?
Yeah.
It's not a big deal here because of the way that they break it up and approach it. This is
They do. There's lots of little interludes, pre-choruses, things. The interludes are like things they'll only do once. That'll split up a verse,
right?
You know, before they go back to it.
And that just shows superior songwriting.
Yeah.
Plus the way they albumize by like you know Time to Relax having that really showcasey voice, you know, introducing the album.
Yeah. Oh, I love it. It's a great opening.
And that repeats throughout the album and breaks it up, so it's almost like you're listening to a program, and that's just it's a fantastic way to approach an album like this, and it really gives a nice album experience. This is an album through and through that you want to put on and listen to the whole thing, but you can still also listen to on a track by track basis, which is a really cool thing and a really cool approach to any sort of music of this style. So I really don't think you're going to find much music out there that can even compete to this, that can be up to this level of just quality. And it came from an indie label in '94. I mean, what more can you want?
And I mean, to me, this is just one of the best albums of all time. I think this did end up in my top 10 albums list of all time. It really, I mean, I started listening to it at a young age. You know, pretty soon after it came out even, and it just, I was like, wow, and this has just stuck with me ever since then, because these are just some really well-written songs. I always come back to this album just when I'm looking for, you know, anything with that energy, with the good instrumentals, showing you that punk and punk rock can maybe sound simple, but still require some really, really talented instrumental chops.
And something that, especially with this set of 10 that we've done, Tom, today, and this just so believable. Like everything is so raw, and it's you never get the feeling like they're doing it half-assed. Like every song, they're pounding it home. They're showing you that that they are for real in making their music. That this music is authentic, and that's something that I really appreciate. I think that this album should just be a benchmark for anybody doing rock music. If you can't get this level of authenticity, if you can't present this level of intensity in your music, then don't do it. Don't just, I mean, back off. You're doing something wrong if you're not this authentic. If your music can't meet this benchmark, then I think you're selling yourself short.
And it has been considered one of the most influential rock albums of all time. And I think it deserves to be.
My favorite tracks, Tom, track 3, Bad Habit, track 5, Genocide, and then track 9, It'll Be a Long Time, and track 13, Not the One. I love Not the One.
I'm just going to go ahead and pick 5 because I couldn't imagine not picking these. I'm actually not going to pick any of the singles. Not that the singles aren't good, but you know, I've heard them plenty, and I think this album has a lot to offer besides those. Plus, I just tend to like the thrashier tracks. And none of the singles really are. But I'm going to go track 2, Nitro, Youth Energy. Track 3, Bad Habit, just really fun. Track 5, Genocide. Track 6, Something to Believe In. Probably my favorite song on this album, one of my favorite songs of all time. I love that song. And then the last track, Smash. Just awesome.
Smash is a really good song. We'll ignore the secret track. But I like this album, Tom. I'd give it an 86.
I'd give it a perfect 100,
of course. You have to, right? So definitely one that VIMTV would recommend, but what are your experiences with Smash? Are you familiar with it? Did it shape your musical upbringing? Tell us why you love it. At velocitiesandmusic.com and our YouTube channel. I'm Jake.
I'm Tom.
Thanks for watching, everybody. We are VIMTV, moving music critique forward.